Ladies and gentlemen, he's a child of God, a husband, NRA conservative, radical right-wing supervillain, and Twitter rock star. American by birth, Texan by choice, and a badass by nature. He's the owner of TomO'Halloran.com, O'HalloranMedia.com, and PatriotRadio.net. Please welcome Tom O'Halloran.
Today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
And good morning, America. This is the Patriot Radio Show. I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran, and I'm broadcasting today from my underground bunker deep in Arkansas, Nebraska. And I'm here to educate, irritate, and agitate. In fact, if you're not fully agitated, by the time this hour's over, you'll get triple your money back at the door. Again, my name's Tom O'Halloran, my primary blog being TomO'Halloran.com. When you get there, please be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Spreaker, any other social media that suits your fancy. Also, please follow my editor, Veronica Coffin. Veronica manages several websites on our network, and without her doing that, I couldn't do this. You'll find her follow button at the bottom of each and every post. On Facebook, we're at facebook.com/Patriot Radio Show. Don't forget to like us when you get there. Personally, I'm at facebook.com/O'Halloran. Feel free to look me up there. If you'd like to join the conversation today, please feel free to call 832-761-1766. You can also listen to the live stream and join the chat room conversation, all at PatriotRadioshow.com. I'm on air 5 days a week now, so please be sure to tune in at 9 a.m. Texas time for this, the Patriot Radio Show. That's Monday through Thursday. On Fridays, I do Jihad on America. Yep, same bat time, same bat channel. That's 9 a.m. Texas time. On Jihad on America, I cover the Islamists in America. I tell you who they are, what they want, and why you should be very, very afraid. If you did not catch my show on the Muslim Brotherhood, my show Islam is Not a Religion, or my show on Islamophobia, then please find your way to PatriotRadioshow.com and listen to all three of these shows, as they will give you insight and perspective on the topic that you've probably not heard elsewhere. They'll also give you a solid foundation upon which we build each and every Friday as we continue to pull back the mask of Islam, looking at what's being done in the name of Allah, both here and abroad. And I do the news about Islam around the world because it's a look into the future, into what's in store for us here in the homeland if we continue to allow the cancer of Islam to spread. Keep abreast of my shows, listen to the live stream, as well as catch the archives of any shows that you may have missed, all at PatriotRadioshow.com. I'd like to thank my sponsors, the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, organization of men and women who have served in foreign conflicts. There are VFW posts all across the country. Please get involved. We exist and have existed for over 100 years solely for the purpose of supporting our veterans and their families. Please get involved with the VFW post near you. I'd also like to thank the Republic of Texas. Their website is thetexasrepublic.com. Great organization of men and women fighting to regain international recognition as a sovereign nation for the people of Texas. Please get involved. Again, the website is thetexasrepublic.com. And finally, Tomball Computer. If your computer is running slow, if it may have a virus, if it just takes forever to do what you're trying to do, give us a call at tomballcomputer.com. That's TOMBALL computer.com. patriot.com. And I say give us a call because that is my company. If you listen to this show, if you enjoy the content we put out, then please help support the show by giving us a call, giving me a call, and allowing me to fix your computer. I can connect to your computer remotely as long as you can get on the internet and do most of the repairs that need to be done without ever touching your machine. My phone number is 903-445-8281. Please give us a call. And with that, we will do a brief announcement here. I will be off the air for the Christmas holidays. I am taking Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. This will be my last show until next Monday. I figure Santa Claus isn't bringing me anything. I'm going to give myself a couple of days off. So, enjoy your holidays. Remember the reason for the season. And have a Merry, Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you guys on Monday. Next Monday we'll be joined again by Ken Crow, my good friend Ken Crow. And next week we hope that we'll have Daisy Donovan coming back. I haven't touched base with her. I haven't looked at a calendar, so I'm not sure where in the New Year's scheme of things that's going to fall, but we'll figure that over the next couple of days. I'll not be on for New Year's Eve. I should be here for New Year's Day if it's Monday through Friday. That I don't even know. That's how far out of the loop I am. Okay, we're going to kick off. We had a Catherine in the chat room says, I can't have a day off because she needs to work tomorrow. Catherine, you've had every Friday off for about 3 years, and I still do the show. So there. We had a woman in Las Vegas the other day running her car on purpose into crowds of people. Not just once, my foot was on the accelerator instead of brake stunt. But she did this, turned, went somewhere else, did it again, and I think a third time even. The casualties, I'm not sure I have all the casualties right now, but the black woman had been living in her car for a couple of weeks. Now, the casualties and stuff are bad enough. My concern at this point is the sheriff who had talked to her. It was a 24-year-old Lakeisha Holloway who had intentionally drove into a crowd on Las Vegas Boulevard sidewalk to intentionally mow down dozens of pedestrians. The sheriff talked to her, and he told the media, I'm not comfortable disclosing what she told him. Oh, pardon me. You're not comfortable? Isn't it the sheriff's duty to keep the people informed of what went on? If it was a white dude, if it was a white Christian dude in the car, and certainly with Donald Trump folders and stuff on him, it would certainly be announced to the media and it would be spread across all the land. So what is being hidden? When I see we're not comfortable telling you why she did something, it's typically going to be because Allah told her to, or because it was a racist rant from the driver of the vehicle, a Black Lives Matter kind of thing, and they don't want to spread that. The media is always protecting the reasons, the actions of the left. And I'm not sure why the sheriff bought into this, but I certainly hope the truth comes out. I have a problem with sheriffs that won't disclose the reasons. Okay, next up, we have another teenager making bomb threats at a school. This one kind of feels like Ahmed the Clock Boy. It is a teenager by the name, and this is Texas again. This is a teenager in the Texas Middle School. I'm trying to get the name of the school district, Arlington. So back up near where Ahmed was, Ahmed Mohammed, whatever, the clock boy. This is in Arlington, which is just west of Dallas. Texas middle school boy was arrested on Friday, December 11th, for threatening to blow up his suburban Dallas public school in Arlington. It's bubbling up with conflicting stories, a comparison with Clock Boy, but no mention of the zero tolerance policies of the school. The boy's name is Arman Singh. Appears to be an Indian name. Indians aren't typically prone to this kind of violence. Of course, Singh could also be a Pakistani name, and those guys are more inclined to be Islamic in nature, which means terrorism is in their nature. The name is Singh. I don't know, I've not seen it really tied to terrorism before, but that doesn't mean anything. If he's Pakistani, he could well be Muslim. He had a backpack with some wires in it, and he told a friend of his that he was going to blow up the school with a backpack bomb. And these wires in there supposedly went to a battery charger that he uses for his electronics. We'll probably see photographs of these battery chargers. I have a battery that I carry in my pocket. It takes one wire. So if he's got multiple wires and stuff, it could have been something made up to look like a bomb, like Clock Boy's device. The police were called. The boy was taken into custody. They did not do a lockdown. In this instance, the police looked into the backpack, could tell that it wasn't a bomb, and just arrested him, put him into juvenile hall for a couple of days, and from there it is believed that he will be doing some time in jail. But he's been released at this time under house arrest. We got a lot more coming up after the break, my friends. Please stay tuned. We were hoping to have Dr. Kelly Ward on today, but perhaps we'll be able to get her after the Christmas break. But we do have a show for you in spite of not having the good doctor from Arizona. Please stick around. We'll be right back. It's the Patriot Radio Show on a tune.
I know the one place where you are guaranteed to find a great guy. You know, the kind of guy that carries you off on horseback and flies you to Paris and likes to talk about his feelings. He's at the movies. Well, in the movies. Where else will you find a funny architect with airbrushed abs? Girls are lining up for guys like this, but not you, because you bought your tickets ahead on Fandango. So adios, long lines, and hello, handsome astronaut, brain surgeon, spy.
Make a date with Fandango, your ticket to the movies. Family night at the movies is a tradition. It really bonds us together. I love you guys so much. Especially this one. I mean, of course, there's all the, his popcorn speaker than mine, and she's hitting me. Fandango makes it all so easy with tickets in advance. Honey, you enjoy the chick flick? Kids, you enjoy the animated movie? Daddy's gonna go watch things go boom. That's how we do family movie night. Bring your family closer together with Fandango, your ticket to the movies.
Girls, I know the one place where you are guaranteed to find a great guy. You know, the kind of guy that carries you off on horseback and flies you to Paris and likes to talk about his feelings. He's at the movies. Well, in the movies. Where else will you find a funny architect with airbrushed abs? Girls are lining up for guys like this, but not you, because you bought your tickets ahead on Fandango. So adios, long lines, and hello, handsome astronaut, brain surgeon, spy.
Make a date with Fandango, your ticket to the movies. Family night at the movies is a tradition. It really bonds us together. I love you guys so much. Especially this one. I mean, of course, there's all the, his popcorn speaker than mine, and she's hitting me. Fandango makes it all so easy with tickets in advance. Honey, you enjoy the chick flick? Kids, you enjoy the animated movie? Daddy's gonna go watch things go boom. That's how we do family movie night. Bring your family closer together with Fandango, your ticket to the movies.
Boost Mobile believes you deserve more choice. You can pick your phone, pick your plan, and you can even pick a new spokesperson and sell that phone.
The Samsung Galaxy S5 will rock your face off!
Give it to me through Tears. Get unlimited talk, text, and data. Starting at $40 a month. Wow.
Pick your phone.
Pick your plan.
And pick your next spokesperson at boostmobile.com.
Visit Boost Mobile through the RER Marketplace.
Patriots, have you ever wondered why Google, Yahoo, AT&T, Comcast, and so many others offer free email? Who offers free stuff these days? They do it so that millions will sign up with them. Then as these people send what they think are private emails, the emails get scanned and tagged according to the content of the emails. These companies then sell your email addresses to companies that are selling things that you may be interested in based upon the content of your emails. If you're a veteran or if you have a vet in your family, go to usvetmail.net. Get an email address, your name at usvetmail.net. It's not only private, but it shows pride in your veteran or your pride of service. We never scan our clients' mail, and we never, ever sell or share your information with anyone. Thank you.
I reckon the storms are brewing. Reckon so.
Reckon you got a hotel?
Reckon no. Money's tight.
Reckon Priceline Express deals can get you a great deal wherever you mosey.
You reckon? We reckon. I reckon our work here is done. Vamonos!
Express deals, Priceline savings without the bidding.
Think he's happy?
I reckon.
They tried to tell me my religion was wrong. They tried to tell me to follow Islam. They said their prophet was a righteous dude, but I found out none of their words were true. I read the Quran and I read the Hadith, and the sickness of Muhammad was apparent to me. He justified perversion in the name of Allah when he married a girl too young for a boy. She was playing with dolls when the prophet came. Her childhood was stolen in Allah's name. Aisha was 9 when he took her to bed. Don't tell me that fool's not sick in the head. Ain't gonna follow no child molester, sex offender, prophet pretender. Ain't gonna follow no child molester.
Islam's not for me. Islam's not for me.
The sickness of the Islamic mind
Has caused some mullahs to be blind.
to justify their prophet, they will justify sin. So the sins of the prophet are repeated again.
All over the world in Islamic states, 9-year-old girls suffer cruel fate.
Sold into marriage to twisted men, and Aisha's sad story is repeated again. Ain't gonna follow no child molester, sex offender, prophet pretender. Ain't gonna follow no child molester.
Islam's not for me. Islam's not for me. Do you care about women all over the world?
Do you care about those little girls?
Then stand up and fight for human rights. Speak out against the laws of Islam.
Ain't gonna follow no child molester, sex offender, prophet pretender. Ain't gonna follow no child molester.
Islam's not for me. Islam's not for me.
Islam's not
for me.
Tom O'Halloran, holding the line against tyranny from Washington, D.C.
I am America, one voice, united we stand. I am America, one hope to heal our land. There is still work that must be done. I will not rest until we won. I am America.
And we are back. This is the Patriot Radio Show, and I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. A story just before the break regarding the Las Vegas incident. There were 37 injured in that woman's rampage driving up onto the sidewalks. 37 injured and 1 dead. The girl is being charged with murder. As well she should. As well she should. And thanks to my good friend Richard in the chat room for them. And today, I usually start Tuesdays off with the police misconduct update. I kind of got off track expecting a call from our candidate that we're going to be interviewing today. And we didn't do that right off the bat, so we're going to do that now. For those of you who aren't regular followers of this show, I am very, very, very pro-law enforcement. Very much so. And because I feel it a duty to shine the light on the cockroaches that wear a uniform, that carry a badge, and do dishonor to the uniform and badge that they carry. While it's only a very small percentage of those out there working, in the hundreds of thousands of police officers serving this country, it still shines we can't paint all the police officers by the reputation of a few bad eggs. But we do have to acknowledge that they are out there doing bad things. So on a weekly basis, I do cover this. Now, when I go through these cases, bullet point by bullet point, all of these are in the news over the last week. Most of them in the last couple of days. Some of them are cases being settled. Some are halfway through it and investigations are still ongoing or court cases starting. Some of them, they have just been suspended for investigation. But these are all current, active investigations into law enforcement. Baltimore, Maryland, an officer was banned from circuit courts for video recording witnesses while in the courthouse. Seattle, Washington, an officer was suspended 1 day for punching a homeless man. See, I'm glad he got suspended, but that's assault. Since when do you not actually get arrested for assaulting somebody? And when you do it wearing a uniform, it's even a bigger crime because you're doing it under color of authority. When a uniformed man punches somebody, unduly. I mean, if he's in a struggle, if the guy's trying to grab his gun or escape or something, sometimes you do need to go to violence. I'm not saying you can't do this. But if you just punched somebody because he didn't stand up when you said stand up or sit down when you said sit down, then that is tyranny. That is assault. And if a 1-day suspension is all he gets, then there's something wrong with the system in Seattle. Chesterfield County, South Carolina, a now former deputy was charged with misconduct. He allegedly paid for sex acts while he was on duty. Rennes, Georgia, an officer was arrested for having obscene contact with a child. We've covered plenty of this on this show. And may he spend many years getting raped in prison. For an officer in a uniform to be a child molester is one of the worst crimes that can be committed. Uniforms are supposed to be looked up to and revered, especially by the innocent youth. Carabel, Florida, an officer was arrested for sexual battery of a minor and child pornography again. Bear Creek, Alabama, an officer was arrested for sexual abuse. Cincinnati, Ohio, a police officer pled guilty to driving violations after an accident. He was one of 3 officers who had been suspended for covering up an incident. Starkville, Mississippi, an officer was placed on leave for improperly detaining a man and threatening him with a rifle. And I certainly hope this leave is just while they file charges against him to put him in jail. Bullitt County, Kentucky, a deputy was charged with deprivation of rights for entering a man's home without consent or a warrant, injuring the man, and filing false charges against him. Again, some people think that the uniform makes them omnipotent, that they have all the powers of judge, jury, prosecutor, the whole thing. I have a badge, I have a uniform, I have power over you. That's not the way it works, folks. They have a badge, they have a uniform, they are charged with serving and protecting. It isn't about their power over us. It's their responsibility to arrest those that are doing wrong, but to do so in a lawful manner. Santa Clara County, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, San Ysidro, California, a now former supervisor, was sentenced to 21 months in prison for secretly recording female colleagues in the bathroom. An act we've seen done before, but I don't recall seeing this done by a uniformed officer. University of Mary Washington in Virginia, an officer was arrested for sexual assault. What is it that causes a man in a uniform to think that because he has a uniform, he has a right to assault women and children? Is it the uniform, or was he already a sexual predator and it just found that the uniform helps him in his conquests? I'm guessing this is probably more accurate. Santa Clara County, California. The county settled with the family of a man fatally shot by a deputy for $2 million. U.S. Marshals, and now former deputy marshals, pled guilty to conspiracy for stealing 24 pounds of marijuana from a dealer. A U.S. Marshal. I mean, really? We see this from police departments on a regular basis, but a U.S. Marshal? I mean, these guys are supposed to be like super cops. They're the ones that arrest bad cops. Rockford, Illinois, an officer is being investigated for domestic violence. Bridgeport, Connecticut, an officer was suspended and demoted, but not criminally charged after a sexual assault allegation. If he was suspended and demoted, I'm guessing there was convincing evidence that he did it. So why was he not charged? Maybe that's still to come. New York, an officer was arrested for child molestation. Again, this is the darkest of crimes. I mean, short of murder. And only by a hair. Child molestation, just by a hair. Cairo, Illinois, now former officer was arrested for trying to illegally purchase guns from the evidence custodian. Good on the custodian, who is surely another police officer. Upstate West York, Pennsylvania, first reported March of 2011. An officer who was fired in 2013 for illegally wiretapping her girlfriend. Her ex-girlfriend was reinstated with back pay and seniority. Wow. She illegally wiretapped her ex-girlfriend and she got reinstated for 2 years back pay. Update, Tucson, Arizona, first reported in June of this year. An officer who had been fired for computer tampering in connection with prostitution probe was reinstated by Civil Service Commission. See, the civil service thing is a bunch of crap. It's a union. If you're a civil servant, if you're a public employee, this is a union type thing that forces your employer to keep you on even in light of bad conduct. It's doing a disservice to the people that the police are there to serve. Council Bluffs, Iowa, an officer will not face charges for shooting at an escaped shoplifting suspect. That one I'd like to know why not. A shoplifting suspect gets shot at? Seriously? That I would, in fact, I'm going to click every once in a while. I've got to open one of these up. I'll look into it on the break, and if not on the break, then after the fact, we may cover that at another time. Why is it okay to shoot at a shoplifting suspect unless he had a gun or pulled a knife? Austin, Texas, an officer was suspended for 2 months and demoted for working on his home while on the clock for a security detail. Austin, Texas, again, a lieutenant was fired for failing to report misconduct in the case above and hindering the internal investigation into the incidents. So a lieutenant kind of hid the fact that one of his cops was drawing pay for a security detail, but he was actually fixing his home. The lieutenant stood up for his cop and hindered an internal affairs investigation, and he got arrested. Good. Faulkner County, Arkansas, a deputy was fired after arrest for DWI and leaving the scene of an accident. Update, Temple, Texas, first reported 2 months ago. An officer who was arrested for firing his gun and inappropriately touching a woman at a police function in a hotel has resigned. Oglala Sioux Tribe, South Dakota, now former security officer, was acquitted of civil rights charges. She tased unresponsive tribe member 28 times. Good grief. Update, Baltimore, Maryland. The officer's first trial for the custody death of Freddie Gray ends in a mistrial. This was big news. Freddie Gray is the black thug that was in the back of a paddy wagon being driven to the police station, and he died of some internal injury. The police officers were arrested, wrongfully so, if I might add, because a witness inside the patrol car, the paddy wagon, said that Freddie Gray was throwing himself around inside the car, trying to wound himself. The black mayor was trying to throw the police officers under the bus in this case, arresting good cops for arresting a bad guy. But the media got all up in arms, screaming for justice for the black thug. So the mayor threw the cops under the bus. I hope the second, third, and fifth, and sixth trials all go into mistrial. There was no evidence that the police did anything wrong in this case. And with that, we're going to slip off to another commercial break. But don't go away. We have a lot more to talk about as soon as we come back. This is the Tuesday edition of the Patriot Radio Show. And I'm your host. I almost said I'm your guest. I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. Stick around. My Christmas break coming up in 30 minutes. Yeah.
It's that time again. It's what you've been dreading all year. It can be confusing, difficult, even painful. It has driven countless people to worry and to despair. It's something you hate, but something you have to do. It gets under your skin, and it can get you in over your head. It is income taxes. Now it is easier. It is faster. It can make you happy. It is less expensive than H&R Block and TurboTax. It will get you your biggest refund faster. It starts free. It is efile.com. efile.com. We make income taxes fast and easy.
How's it going, JR fans? Nick Libretti here, and today we're smoking the Oliva Cane Daytona. Another home run from the Oliva Company. Guys, this is the Cane Daytona. Medium to full body Nicaraguan smoke. Habano wrapper on it. Burns really, really nice. Hints of coffee. Really, really creamy, flavorful smoke. This thing changes flavors on me 4 or 5 times throughout the cigar. It's excellent. 3 words I would use to describe this thing: impeccable, complex, and out of this world. That's more than 3 words. Stop counting. We have 3 sizes, everything from a 46 to a 60 ring gauge. Get them right now at jrcigars.com.
Hi there, my name is Mark Cranenberg and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to talk about my favorite order from Chicago Steak Company. It's the Classic Prime Assortment. Alright, well let's open up and have a look what's inside. So right away we've got 2 6-ounce filet mignons. If you know anything about steak, it's really rare to see filet mignons with that kind of marbling in it. Just beautiful steak. And then next we've got the 2 12-ounce USDA prime strip steaks. Just look at how thick these things are. They're just beautiful. Again, beautifully marbled, amazing steak. Then we've got 2 USDA prime ribeyes. And if you like steak that is just mouth-watering, this is the steak for you. With all that marbling inside, you'll see it's thicker. The marbling is a lot thicker. That just means more moisture throughout your steak. Now we've got 6 USDA prime top sirloin steaks. These are the steaks that everyone's going to love. And then we're moving into our next package. Next we have 16 4-ounce gourmet Angus steak burgers. These are amazing burgers that everyone's going to love. And to top it all off, they give you 1 container of my favorite steak seasoning of all time, the Chicago Steak Spice. And you're going to love it too. So there you have the Classic Prime Assortment. My favorite and your ultimate steak experience. So be sure to order your steak today at mychicagosteak.com. I'm Mark. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you next time at mychicagosteak.com.
Tom O'Halloran has a not-so-common core spelling lesson for the Obama administration. Ready? There is no K in America.
There's kids that can't pray in school, $100 tanks of gas. I can tell you right now, this country ain't supposed to be like that. No, that ain't my America. That ain't this country's roots. You wanna slam all on the Sam, but I ain't letting you. Yeah, I'm mad as hell, and you know I still bleed red, white, and blue. They ain't us, and that ain't my America. Oh no, that ain't my America. No, 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 no. That ain't my America. Oh no.
And we are back. This is the Tuesday edition of the Patriot Radio Show. I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. Just before the break, we were doing police misconduct, and I had touched on one story where a police officer was not going to be fired or charged with shooting at a shoplifting suspect. And I clicked on it, opened it up, read it during the break. I concur. This incident was a little bit more than you can get into a bullet point. It turns out the suspect, Adam Thomas, had entered a store with a bag of stolen goods. He was returning it, and he was apprehended by police officer Ben Lake. The suspect was taken to the patrol car and by Lake and another officer. The suspect slipped out of his handcuffs, stuck his arm through the window of the car, and managed to open the back door. When the police officer came outside, he saw the suspect escaping. The suspect actually was able to steal a truck. And the police officer felt that his life was threatened, that he was being charged with the truck to be run over. He fired his weapon. The suspect, I guess, pulled over. And in review of the case, it was determined that he wasn't actually being charged. The guy was just trying to get away, not run over the police officer. The police officer, in reviewing the investigation, concurred with that. So the guy isn't being charged with trying to run over a police officer, and the police officer is not being charged with attempted murder either. So it could have just been the police officer's perception of the situation at the time, but it could have been a deadly difference in outcome. If you weren't being run over, you shouldn't have been shooting, because you could have shot the guy, and then you're shooting somebody for fleeing, which is a crime. So they both got off lucky, I guess. I don't do pop culture, so I really didn't plan on doing anything on the Miss Universe thing, but Steve Harvey sure pulled one up the other day, didn't he? Named Miss Colombia as Miss Universe rather than Miss Philippines. I'm glad they straightened it out. God, she is a stunner. Isn't she Miss Philippines? What a gorgeous, gorgeous woman. Some of the brightest and most beautiful women in the world come from the Philippines. A couple of my ex-wives were from the Philippines, as a matter of fact. But that's not what I'm going to talk about. What I want to talk about is Miss Puerto Rico, another doll. Absolute stunner, this one as well. She came out and she tweeted some things in response to Michael Moore's stunt. This fat ass was standing in front, not Miss Puerto Rico, we're talking Michael Moore. Whoa, not Miss Puerto Rico. She's a gorgeous gal. Michael Moore is standing, I'm guessing New York City, because that's where you go when you want saying, "We are all Muslim." Miss Puerto Rico took to Twitter saying, "Michael Moore, Islamic God is not the same God of Christians and Jews." Another tweet, "Muslims use our Constitution to terrorize the USA and plant gas stations." Another one, she says, "Michael Moore, there is no comparison between Jews and Christians and Muslims. Jews nor Christians have terrorizing agendas in their sacred books." Another one, she says, Michael Moore, all what Muslims have done is provide oil and terrorize this country and many others. And finally, she says, hold a sign that says we are all believers in Christ. Hats off to her. Oh, that was in Las Vegas, in front of the Trump Tower. That was in Las Vegas. She gets suspended. Miss Puerto Rico was suspended Saturday from representing Miss America organization after issuing a series of tweets aiming at Michael Moore and more broadly at Islam. The Miss America organization announced that Destiny Velez would be barred from representing the pageant because of her anti-Muslim comments, which were later deleted, but not before social media users captured her screenshots. That's all right. We know who she is now. She may not be able to represent this ignorant organization, but we know who she does represent, the American people. And Destiny Velez is a hero in my book. God bless her. God bless her. See, she had the courage of her conviction, which so few people do in this country today. So few people do. They're more worried about being politically correct. And yes, she backed her statements off. When told by the organization that she had to apologize, she came out with the PC. "I'm sorry if I offended anybody." All the typical walking it back that people need to do. But she had the conviction to say what she believed. And that's important. So few people do these days. So my hat's off to her. Fox News announces there'll be one more final GOP debate before the Iowa caucus. It'll take place on January 28th from Des Moines, Iowa. Just in time. And it'll be hosted by Brett Baer, Megyn Kelly, and Chris Wallace. Is that the same crew that did the first Fox debate? I believe it is. I believe that's all three of them. But I'm hoping that they'll be a little less hateful towards Donald Trump, a little more respectful to the leader in the campaign. Up next, we have a report out of Germany. Just 10% of the so-called Syrian refugees, which, as I say repeatedly, are neither Syrian nor refugees, but just 10% of them have had their identity verified. Most of them have fake documentation. Fake documentation. They're actual, authentic passports, state-issued IDs, and driver's licenses, but they've been purchased from ISIS out of Turkey. A senior German police officer has written to Chancellor Merkel to complain that his officers have been overwhelmed by the scale of the migrant crisis, and now just 1 in 10 migrants are controlled as they cross the border. Only a fraction of the migrants entering Germany are now fingerprinted or have their names checked, according to German Police Union. Union Deputy Chief Radek. In his letter to Chancellor Angela Merkel, the veteran police officer said the force is now not in a position to pursue its mission of security and law enforcement on the German-Austrian border in the statutory way we perceive. They are not even fingerprinting these people anymore. They said there were so many more migrants crossing the borders than officers could receive. They had become unable to prevent terrorists disguised as refugees from entering the country. German police union chief Rainier Wendt backed up his colleague, confirming that hundreds of thousands of cases have crossed the border unchecked, who could enter the country under whatever name for whatever reason. German law requires that so-called refugees crossing the border are fingerprinted, although this has not been the case for some months now. This is just the latest warning from German police about the effect of migrant crisis on law and order in the normally peaceful Central European nation. In July, police warned that insufficient officers and obsolete equipment meant they were unable to catalog all who entered the nation. And in any case, once they had the force lacked powers to deal with the newcomers. While police are required to pass on migrants to the federal office for migration, after they have been cataloged at the border, there is no record of system. There is no record of system for checking where they actually go, and no means to compel individuals to do as they are told by authorities. The chaos continues beyond the border and the migration office to refugee camps. In November, the German government admitted to a written parliamentary question that it lost track of the number of migrants in their own asylum camps. The government also admitted that it had no idea how many had been released from the camps to live within Germany. The latest estimates stand at 1.5 million. Yet this figure has already been revised 3 times this year, as the number has been found to be a wild understatement. This is exactly what I mean. Every time I open my show for the last 18 months now, I say I do the news about Islam around the world because it's a look into the future of what's in store for us here in America, as if we continue to allow the cancer of Islam to spread here in the homeland. This is what we can expect. Obama is trying to bring 200,000 of these refugees, of these Islamist savages into our country. They are coming in with false passports. They're coming in at a rate that they cannot even properly process. And they can't even count anymore. They don't know how many are there. They don't know where they went. And they don't know who they are. Is this something that we want for our own country? I can assure you it's not. If Obama has his way, this is exactly what we will have. This is exactly what we'll have here in America. Obama will have them coming in faster than we can process them. There's no way, and the FBI has already told us there's no way to vet these people because they have bogus ID. And may I remind you, there are 7 Muslim countries in the region that refuse to take a single one of these so-called refugees because they say, in their own words, it's impossible to vet them. And we don't want to bring terrorists into our country. If the Muslim countries can't vet their own people, and they won't put their own people at risk, Why in hell would Obama think any less of the American people? Why would Congress fund this refugee immigration process? Why would Congress put Americans at risk where Muslim countries won't put their people at risk? That is the question that you need to ponder. Because as we discussed yesterday, Paul Ryan, the newly elected Speaker of the House, has fully funded everything Obama wanted. He's fully funded the fast track treaties. He's fully funded the Dreamers Act. He's fully funded the Syrian refugee import. He's fully funded the $1 trillion budget. He has given Obama everything he wants. I'm going to be away. I'm going to be away for doggone near a week. I've got 3 days off, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then 2 days for the weekend. I've got 5 days. Over the next 5 days, give some serious thought to what Paul Ryan just did to America. It's time to rise up and get him thrown out of office, physically if necessary. He absolutely did not do what he told the American people he was going to do if we sent him to Washington, D.C. And with that, I wish each and every one of you to remember the reason for the season. I wish each and every one of you a blessed Christmas week. And with that, God bless you and yours, America. This is Tom O'Halloran. I'm out. You hear that, young'un? I'm out. Yes, out. This is Tom O'Halloran. I'm out. Did you get it here? A shout out for my youngest fan. God bless y'all. We'll see you next week.